key on top of the note. I read it once, didn't quote. I packed your shoes in the wrong box, kept the shirt that matched my thoughts. You said no hard feelings here, but I still shook when you got near. You didn't ask if I was done, so I had to be the one. I'm packing it up, slow but sure. You won't ask, so close the door. This was soft, this was loud, this was love I can't keep around. I wrapped the frame we never filled, left the light you used to build. I took down the list we made. You moved on, but I still stayed. You looked fine, you always do. I kept saying we'll get through. I'm packing it up with no regrets. You won't hold what I still kept. You said thank you, I said same, but in my chest it still had weight. This isn't anger, this isn't fear, it's just the truth I wouldn't hear. I'm packing it up for me this time. No more trying to read your mind. I loved you, you showed up, but now I'm packing it up. I said I was fine to everyone but me. Left your things in a box and moved them twice a week. I checked her name more times than I'll admit. Told myself it's curiosity, but that's not what it is. I played it calm and cursed your street, laughed with friends, then cried through sleep. I wanted you to hurt the way you made me break. I wanted you to beg just once, just late, but wanting that just made it worse, and none of it reversed the first. You look so small in that photo she shared. I zoomed in to see if you looked like you cared. I said I'm past it out loud at least, but healing's not some clean release. I stopped the blame and sat with doubt. I stopped pretending to block it out. I wanted to be the one you'd regret not choosing. I wanted to win, but it kept me losing. And every time I look behind, I miss the part where I was fine. There's peace in not performing, in letting things just be. You walked away away so easily, but I'm still here with me. I won't hold the ending like it's mine to fix. I won't write your reasons in my own script. I'll leave the ache where it began and walk away with both my hands. I won't take gold or printed name, not the stories, not the frame. The house will fade, the voice will still, but love is what I'll carry until the final breath, the fading light, the last goodbye into the night. All I leave behind is how I loved, not how I looked or what I've done. Just the way I held your hand, the silent way you'd understand. I gave too much to the wrong things, but still believed in what love brings. And if you feel my warmth one day, know it's a part that chose to stay. I won't be loud in memory, but maybe love outlives the body. All I leave behind is what I gave, the way I stayed through every wave, the words I said when no one heard, the kindest truth without a word. Some chase more than hearts can hold, but love is rare and quiet gold. All I leave behind is this small song, a proof of love that lingered long. And if it's soft, and if it's kind, let that be what's left behind. If you let me be rain, I'll fall where you go, soft on your shoulders, quiet and slow. I won't ask for sun all the time, just a place to touch your mind. You don't have to promise, just don't run fast. I'll keep in rhythm if you make it last. Let me be rain on your kind of sky. I don't need forever, just one honest try. I'll pour down gently, not drown or fade, just enough to help you stay. If you let me be wind, I'll pass through your door, carry your quiet and ask for no more. I'll write you in patterns the leaves repeat, and hum your name beneath my feet. You don't need to say you feel it too. I'll still move soft around you. Let me be rain when the heat feels tight. I'll cool your hands without a fight. I won't thunder or chase your sleep, just enough so your heart can keep. Not every love has to be loud. Some bloom slow in a softer sound. So let me be rain if you don't know yet. I'll fall and wait without regret. And if you turn and find me near, know I was always meant to be here. Know I was always meant to be here. You said this feels right outside your place, and I believed you without second pace. You kissed my hand like it meant more, but I didn't know you kept a score. I stayed quiet when I should have asked. You smiled soft but looked right past. You almost had me with your steady voice. You almost held me like I was your choice, but it never made it past your room. You promised spring but gave me June. You almost had me, but not enough, and almost hurts when you called it love. I read your text like they meant hope, but they were just your way to cope. You said you'd change, just needed time, but every word read more like a lie. You let me dream and watch me try, but never once said goodbye. You almost had me with your careful plans. almost knew me, but used both hands to hold the past and keep me near, to say I care but disappear. You almost had me, and that was worse. You didn't lie, but it still hurt. Some truths don't break, they fade then stay. I left your coat on Tuesday. You almost had me with your borrowed light. You almost kept me one more night, but love like that just runs out slow. You let me in but didn't show. You almost had me, and that's the line. You meant the start but not the time. You walked in like a warning, but I didn't flinch. You smiled like you'd seen me in a life I haven't lived. I asked your name and then forgot to breathe. You said something dumb and it sounded like poetry. I'm scared of fast things, but I still took your hand. Don't know where this is going, but I don't need a plan. I don't know you yet, but I want to. Even if you ruin me the way some people do. This might end messy, but maybe that's fair, 'cause I'd rather crash than not get there. I'm writing down pieces of things you said, memorizing nothing but feeling it instead. You talk in circles and I keep following. Your voice is a maze, but I don't want out of it. I swore I'd be cautious, but I jumped the line. Something about you makes risk feel like mine. I don't know you yet, but I want to. Even if I lose the calm I spent years holding on to. This could be chaos, but maybe that's right, 'cause every love I played safe went quiet. Tell me something true, I'll believe it all. Don't give me slow, just make me fall. I don't know you yet, but I want to. If this breaks me, at least I broke for you. We could burn bright or fade too fast, but I'll take the heat if you'll make it last. We never kissed, but I still remember your name like it happened in winter. You laughed at my joke but didn't reply. I said see you, but you never asked why. I made you a song but never pressed send. You looked at me once like maybe back then. There wasn't a fight, no clear end in sight, just long pauses, then too many nights. It almost was, but never became a thing to hold or even to name. I thought of you like maybe you thought, but maybe you didn't. Maybe it's not. I walked by your street, you weren't there. I typed how are you, but left it bare. You borrowed my pen and never gave back, but that's the closest we ever had. Some things end before they start. Some people leave without a part. It almost was a line of scene. You smiled too much but said nothing mean. I almost stayed, you almost called, we almost loved, but that was all. You told her you're lonely, and I almost laughed, 'cause I was right here just 1 year back. It almost was, but never grew. I wanted more, and so did you. We almost meant, but never do. We almost meant, but never do. I told you things I never told. I gave you word I still hold. I said I'm scared, you changed the frame. I said I'm here, you missed my name. I stayed up late just to be clear. You stayed quiet then disappeared. You heard the sound but not the thought. I gave you pieces you forgot. Everything I said just filled the air. You looked at me like I wasn't there. I gave you pages, you closed the book. I told the truth, but you never looked. I asked, do you know what I mean? You smiled like I caused a scene. You said I care, but left me the line. I stayed in, you skipped the sign. I gave you hours, you gave me pause. I opened first, you shut the cause. Everything I said was mine to keep. You stayed safe, I fell deep. I told my world, you gave a nod. I begged and played, but you saw fog. Ooh. said I care. You played a game. Everything I said I still believe. Even if you didn't receive, I told the truth, you called it wrong, but I meant it all along. You'd love the drama if it wasn't mine. You said I'm not ready for the 8th time. We broke up on a Tuesday night, then kissed again before the lights. My friends all say I should've left, but what's a lesson if not a test? You'd love the drama if it wasn't me. The crying in cars, the late apology. I lost myself in every act, but played it well and took it back. He bought me flowers, then made me cry. Called it passion, I called it a lie. We danced like it meant something more, then argue about who closed the door. They say I'm reckless with how I love, but no one warns you when it's just enough. You'd love the drama from the outside in, but I live the plot beneath the skin. I forgave too fast, loved too loud, but never once let myself drown. They call it chaos, I call it mine. Not every storm needs to align. You'd love the drama like it's a show, but I was the one who had to grow. So write your lines and say your part. I'll keep the truth and start from heart. I used to whisper just to keep the peace. Laughed at your jokes that cut into me. I called it compromise, you called it love, but I gave you everything, you gave just enough. You said I was too much, then asked me to stay. I shrank to fit, but now I say I left the door open, then walked away. I didn't slam it, but I didn't stay. You fed on my silence, I'm done being sweet. You don't get to miss me when I found my feet. liked me quieter, kept me on mute. Said healing takes time while you played the flute. I kept rewriting every little red flag, turned pain into poems and wore every tag. But I'm not your shadow, not your repair. I won't shrink for someone who was never there. I left the door open, then walked away. Not for you, but for me to stay sane. You wanted devotion, I wanted the truth. So I broke the version you loved me through. I looked in the mirror and saw more than pain. I saw the girl you tried to contain. I left the door open, but I'm not coming back. I packed my heart and painted the cracks. You lost the right to keep me small. I left for me, and I stand tall. I closed the door but heard it still. Your voice stayed low but lost its will. I used to bend to keep us straight. I took the fall, you called it fate. You held the calm but made me small. You stayed polite, I took it all. I knew the cost before I paid. You watched me break and looked away. But after I left, I could breathe. I saw the sky, not just the need. You called it close, but left me wide. You loved control, loved to hide. You asked what changed, I said enough. You gave me rules, I called that rough. I gave you grace, you gave me lines. I left the weight, you kept the signs. You didn't shout but shut me down. I said I'm here, you left the town. This wasn't love, this was a shape. I changed the frame to find escape. 'Cause after I left, I found the air. You lost the hold I used to bear. You stayed the wall. I found the sky. This isn't loss, it's just goodbye. You look settled now, like you never broke. She wears the shoes you said you never own. Your laugh got louder, your hair looks clean. You look like the version you never were with me. And I tell my friends I'm really glad he's fine, but I bite my tongue every single time. Good for you, but I'm not. I still flinch when I hear your song. I wish you well, and I mean it too. But part of me hates how fast you moved. You hold her hand like it's always been hers, and smile like you forgot how we hurt. I keep my cool, but deep inside I still scream when they say you're doing fine. I post my life like it's all okay, but there's a part of me you still outweigh. Good for you, but I'm not. I still pretend you're not what I want. I toast to love like I believe in it, but part of me breaks every time you commit. I should be proud you figured it out, but it stings. You did it without me. Good for you and your brand new heart. You got closure while I fell apart. I hope she's kind and never doubts, but don't expect me to clap this out. I almost said it when you looked away. It sat on my tongue and begged to stay. You laughed at something I didn't hear. I smiled like I wasn't near. What if it's too much? What if it's too soon? What if I love you makes me the fool? Say it or don't, that's the choice I hold. Between burning quiet or burning bold. I wanna be honest, but I don't wanna fall without knowing if you'll catch me at all. I replay our moments like film on mute, trying to read what your eyes compute. You lean so close, but never through. I count the inches between me and you. I write the words and erase the line. You ask me why, I say I'm fine. Say it or don't, that's the cliff I'm on. Do I jump or just walk alone? I wanna be fearless, but I learned the cost of loving too loudly and getting lost. I've said it before to the wrong face, heard silence back and kept my place. So now I sit with all I want and ask again, say it or don't. Say it or don't, but I know it's true. I'm already gone if I can't say it to you. I wanna mean it without regret, but I'm scared of what I won't forget. My skin feels heavy, like I'm wearing regret. You asked what's wrong, and I just said not yet. Your kindness stings like something I owe. I smile and nod, but wish you go. It's not that I don't care, I just don't know how to let someone in when I'm breaking down. I feel too much for you to see me. You're not too soft, but it still bleeds me. I want your love, but it burns right through. I wish I was someone who could handle you. You stay too long, and I hold my breath. You say I'm here, and I feel the depth. I don't want silence, but noise feels worse. And even your warmth can feel like a curse. I'm tired of hiding in rooms full of light. I just need space to lose this fight. I feel too much for you to see me. Your hands are soft, but they still freeze me. I need your arms, but not too tight. I need some dark to miss the light. I feel too much, but I still care. If I pull away, it's not that you're not there. Just let me fall where no one sees. Then maybe one day I'll come back to me. I passed by the bench, we carved our names. They faded now, but I still see the shapes. The sky that day was a kind of blue that made it feel like things would stay true. Time is quiet like a thief at night, takes without warning, never asks if it's right. If I had known then what I know now, I'd have held your hand just a little more proud. I'd stop and breathe while we were still one. Your shoes on the mat were the last to go. I stepped around them like they still meant home. The clock kept ticking, but not for us. It moved us forward, then left the dust. I thought we had a longer line, but love ran out before the time. It slips, I'd have kissed you slow and never skipped. I'd memorize the sound you made when you said nothing but chose to stay. Now I sit with what won't come back, a future we lost on a faded track, and all I can do is write it down to feel you near without the sound. If I had known then this would be the end, I'd have loved you like it couldn't bend. But maybe love was meant to break, so we'd remember what we couldn't take. I sit right there on your couch, then laughed like it was a joke. You smiled. stayed longer than I should have. Watched you stir sugar into something you didn't drink. You asked if I wanted a ride. I said I'm fine, but I wasn't. No answer, still an answer, I know, but it's the kind that takes longer to hurt. You didn't say anything, and that said everything. And I said everything. You didn't say anything, and that said everything. Oh, you were in summers. You left before the leaves turned. I wore the sundress you liked until October, just in case you came back. I let the windows stay open, even when it rained. You said this feels immense, but you meant until it's easy to live. I stayed longer than the season. I stayed than the seams. I stayed through the change. I stayed through the quiet. I felt like something. I opened the window not for air, but for the feeling of light. I'm not rushing, I'm not stuck. I'm learning how to begin, not perfectly, just honestly. I smile without asking if it looks too forced. I move even if it's slow. Oh, don't delete your photos, but I don't revisit them either. I don't write about you in poems anymore. Some days still ache, but they don't hold me. I'm learning how to begin, this time with both hands open, not to catch, just to hold whatever comes. And that feels like enough. I used to wonder if you still check my page, if your friends ever mention my name by mistake. I'd rehearse 100 questions, none of them brave, just soft little echoes of what I couldn't say. But I don't ask anymore, I don't stay up late, tracing old patterns just to feel safe. I stopped holding space you didn't ask me to keep, and that silence finally lets me sleep. I pass by a corner, but I don't slow down. Your ghost doesn't reach me the way it used to now. Maybe I'm colder, or maybe I'm clear. Either way, you're no longer here. I don't ask anymore, not even in my head. I stopped trying to rewrite what you said. I let go without needing more, and that's the peace I was always looking for. Sending messages, but your name still lingers in the way I breathe. I spell you in coffee foam, in rainy windows, in grocery lines. I almost say you when I laugh too hard and swallow it like like a secret I promise not to tell. You don't call, but I still listen. I kept your name in my mouth, like a word I'm too scared to forget. I kept your name where no one can hear, but I taste it in every almost love. I held you in silence longer than I ever held your hand. I taught my lips to curve around lies, but the truth still sits behind my teeth, waiting for a reason to spill. Maybe someday I'll forget the flavor of missing you. Maybe, but not yet. I kept your name in my mouth, like a prayer I never believed enough. I kept your name like a song only I remember. I stayed where your name could still find me, and you never knew. You don't know how deep this goes. I remember every shirt you wore, the one with frayed sleeves from '94, and how you bite your lip when you're lost in thought. I never said the words you wanted, but I meant all the ones I kept. There's no one else I hold like this, in my head, in my breath, in every quiet wish. There's no one else I'd break for, bend, burn, begin again for. You just don't see it, but I still do. I kept the note you left on a grocery list, something dumb, but it felt like bliss. You kissed me like it didn't mean anything. I loved you like it meant everything. There's no one else I'd wait this long for, no one else my hand still reach toward. And maybe you've moved on, but I never could. at the pen but didn't move. Some endings are better when they stay unwritten. I won't write this down, not the way you looked when you left, not the sound of your keys, not the quiet you left behind. Some things aren't worth keeping, not even on paper. I burned old drafts of what we were, half poems, half denial. They didn't rhyme, but they hurt like truth. This time I'll let the memory fade on its own. I won't write this down, not because it didn't matter, but because remembering has started to feel like bleeding. I won't write this down, not because it didn't matter, but because remembering has started to feel like bleeding. You called me late that Thursday, said your plans had all fallen through. I should have said I'm busy, but I never say that to you. You asked if I could meet you, I was out the door too fast. I put on that old gray sweater you once said made you laugh, and I know it wasn't special, just another night for you. But I memorized your order and the song that played at 2. I would have said no if I had known you'd forget it like it meant nothing to. You said you missed our dinners, but you never stayed past 10. You never asked me questions, only talked and left again. And I held on to the moments you tossed out like loose change, just hoping maybe one day you'd turn around and say my name. And I know it wasn't special, just another stop for you. But I saved the folded napkin where you wrote your favorite tune. I would have said no if I had known how empty you could feel so full. Now I practice saying no, like I should have said to you. You said hi, and I almost ran. Funny how fear still holds my hand. how to hold someone close without flinching, like it might explode. But you smiled and didn't rush, and I felt safe for the first time in months. I don't know what this could be, but you're not asking for guarantees. I'm learning how to let someone in without the ghost pulling me thin. Not all love has to burn. Maybe this time I get to learn. You don't ask for more than now, and that's enough somehow. We talk about silly things, your movie picks, my mismatched rings. You don't ask where I've been, and that's the part that lets me begin. I stopped waiting for the storm. Sometimes love isn't torn. I'm learning how to stay right here, to show up without fear. You don't fix me, you just see, and that's what healing means to me. Not all love has to burn. Maybe this time I get to learn. You laughed when I forgot my line, brushed it off like it was fine. You stayed when others walked away, never asked, just chose to stay. I never thought I needed much, but I flinched at every touch, until your hands were patient still, and somehow broke through what I willed. You never made me prove a thing, and that changed everything. You loved me so quiet, so sure I didn't see, but now every part of me wants to match your clarity. It's not a sudden fire, it's slow and strong and true. I didn't know it then, but I love you, me too. I watched the way you held my fear, like something soft you'd keep near. You never asked me to be brave, just waited at the edge and waved. And it hit me in the simplest way, like a whisper I couldn't push away. You loved me so quiet, so sure I couldn't see, but now every part of me wants to stand where you've been standing. I'm not afraid to fall if it's falling into you. a page for longer than I meant to. Your photo was the same, but you look farther. I didn't want to mean it, but I did. I almost said it in the pause between messages. I almost meant I still feel it, but left it unsent. You don't deserve to hold it, but I still couldn't let it go. I walked into our song by accident, but stayed until the finer note. If you had asked just once, I would have told you everything. I almost said it more than you'll ever guess, but almost is what you left me with, and that was enough to ruin me. I didn't cry, not where you could see it. You never asked, but I would have told you all the ways you lived in me without knowing it. You said I was quiet, but I was loud in all the ways that mattered. I loved you in silence, in every pause you didn't notice. And when you left, you took nothing, but it still felt like losing everything. I made space for your forgetting. You made peace with not remembering me at all. I don't hate you, but I don't carry you anymore. I loved you in silence, and that's the loudest I've ever been. Oh, so when you wonder why I stopped trying, it's because I did for so long and you never heard it. I was quiet, but I was full of you. I washed the glass you left behind, like it might bring you back. Your sweater's still on the chair. I said I'd move it, but I never really tried. You were leaving then, but you didn't stay either. You didn't say goodbye, and that's why I still wait. You didn't close the door, and now everything feels half open. I remember what you didn't say, louder than anything did it. I talk a little softer now, like you might be near. I pause before I laugh, like your voice might follow mine. I'm not asking you to come back, I just wanted an ending. You didn't say goodbye, so it never felt real. You left so carefully, I barely had time to feel it breathe. But I did, and I do still. And that was always enough to stay. Some days I look back, and it feels like watching someone else. We tried so hard to stay, even when it didn't fit. You loved in silence, I answered with too much noise. It wasn't all wrong, but it wasn't quite right. I'm not angry, I'm not sad, just watching it now, like a movie I've seen before. No plot twist, no big goodbye, just quiet and a better ending after. I used to wonder if you still think of me, but now I hope you just feel peace. We were young and trying, but not for the same things. I'm not wishing, I'm not aching, just breathing in what's left and leaving what I no longer need. I'm looking back lightly and moving forward slowly. You asked me what I want this time, and I didn't hide behind the usual lines. For once I said what I meant, not dressed up in defense. You listened like it mattered, and nothing felt scattered. There's still pieces on the floor, but I'm not guarding the door. I'm almost believing you see me without needing to fix a thing. You're not rushing or retreating, just staying, and that's freeing. I'm not all in, but I'm not leaving, and that feels like healing. You don't call every night, but I don't read that as a slight. I don't panic when it's quiet. I'm learning how to sit beside it. Maybe love isn't loud, but it's steady when allowed. I'm almost believing this could stay without needing proof each day. You're not perfect and neither am I, but we don't have to lie. I'm not all